Okay, think about the biggest banks in the world. You're probably picturing Wall Street, right? Or maybe London. But what if I told you one of the most powerful banks on the planet started in a small port city most people have never even heard of? Yep, not New York, not London, Santander, Spain. So let's unpack the secrets behind this absolutely incredible story. So you gotta ask, right? How did this happen? I mean, how does a local port city bank from way back in 1857 turn into a global giant managing, over $2 trillion in assets? Well, the answer isn't just about the money. It turns out there's a very unique formula for building an empire like this. And just to really get a handle on the scale here, let's just throw out one number, 180 million. That's not a valuation, that's the number of customers Santander has right now, all across Europe and the Americas. It's just a staggering figure, putting them right up there with the biggest names in the game. But rewind the clock. It all started so small. We're talking May 15th, 1857. Queen Isabella II of Spain signs off on this royal decree. And what happens? 72 local merchants, that's it. They pool their money together with one very specific goal in mind: to finance trade between their port and Latin America. Think sugar, textiles, that kind of thing. That was the entire business model. Simple as that. So what was the secret sauce? What was the engine that took them from that simple business to where they are today? Well, it wasn't just luck, and it wasn't just riding some market wave. It was a family. Seriously, the true core advantage for Santander is a four-generation dynasty, and they provided a kind of strategic consistency that, let's be honest, most public companies can only dream of. Yeah, the Botín dynasty. This is the key. You have to understand, most big banks live and die by the quarter. They're constantly answering to Wall Street, to market demands. What have you done for me lately? But Santander, their strategy has been guided by this one family for more than 100 years. And that lets them make these huge long-term bets that others just can't. I mean, just look at this timeline for a second. It's wild. It starts all the way back in 1895 with Raphael Botín, and it just keeps going, all the way to his great-granddaughter, Anna Patricia, who takes the helm in 2014. We're talking four generations, one after the other, with this continuous, guiding vision. That's how you go from a local player to a global powerhouse. At this contrast, it's literally everything. The Botín family is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. They're playing the long game, thinking in decades, not quarters. They can take a hit now for a huge win later. Meanwhile, their competitors are often stuck in that short game, chained to those quarterly reports. And that makes it almost impossible to make those deep, game-changing investments. So when you have this kind of long-term vision, it creates a totally different playbook. For Santander, a crisis isn't something you just try to survive. Nope. It's an opportunity to get bigger, to get stronger. And you will not find a better example of this than what they pulled off during the 2008 financial meltdown. Okay, picture it. The year is 2008. The entire global financial system is on fire. It's pure chaos. Lehman Brothers has just collapsed. Banks are either getting massive bailouts or they're just gone. And in the middle of all this carnage, what was Santander doing? It was going shopping. And what's so wild about this is the patience they had. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment thing. No way. They started laying the groundwork way back in 2006, buying up about 20% of an American bank called Sovereign. And then they just waited. So when the crisis finally hit and Sovereign was on its knees, Santander just stepped in and scooped up the rest. It was a strategic masterstroke that took years to execute. And get this, they paid just $1.9 billion for the rest of it. In the middle of all that 2008 chaos, Santander basically bought its entire U.S. retail banking platform for pennies on the dollar compared to what it would have cost just a couple years earlier. That is the definition of turning a global crisis into your own personal strategic gift. But here's the thing. This wasn't a one-off trick. This has been their MO for over a century. You look back at the Spanish-American War in 1898, it crushes their trade with Cuba. So what do? They pivot and build a domestic powerhouse instead. Fast forward to 1999. After a huge merger, Emilio Botín comes in, ends an internal power struggle, and forges the unified giant that was ready to take on Europe. Time and time again, they use these moments of chaos to get stronger. Okay, so that's the playbook that got them here. But what about right now? What about the future? Well, under Anna Patricia Botín, the current chairwoman, the bank is placing another one of those massive long-term bets. But this time, it's all about technology, and it's aimed at outmaneuvering a whole new kind of rival. And the heart of this new strategy is something called Gravity. Now, this isn't just some software they bought. No, they are building their own core banking system completely from scratch. It's this massive, cloud-based platform designed to replace the messy patchwork of old systems they've picked up over the years. And make no mistake, this is a huge technical and financial gamble. And this really shows you a fundamental difference in how they think. Pretty much every other big bank out there just buys their core tech from vendors like SAP or Oracle. It's the standard way of doing things. But Santander, they're choosing to build it themselves. The bet is that by owning their entire tech stack, they can control costs, innovate way faster, and build this long-term advantage that competitors just can't copy. So to really get why this is such a big deal, we have to look at something called the efficiency ratio. It's pretty simple. It's how much it costs the bank to make a dollar. And you want that number to be as low as possible. Right now, they're at a pretty respectable 41.3%. But that's just the beginning. Because this is the goal. The whole point of Gravity is to be the engine that drives that number down, way down, to around 36% by 2028. Now, a 5-point drop might not sound like much, but for a bank this size, it is absolutely massive. We're talking billions in savings. It would make them one of the most efficient global banks on the planet. And it's not even just about cutting costs. This brand new unified system, it's the foundation for all their AI ambitions. The bank is projecting that these programs, doing everything from credit scores to spotting fraud, will generate over €1 billion in extra value every single year by 2028. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, this clear formula starts to emerge, right? It's this really powerful, unique mix of patient family money, a strategy of turning crises into opportunities, and these deep, deep investments in their own infrastructure. And this is where you can really see how they stack up against the competition. You've got JP Morgan, which is a beast in U.S. investment banking. You've got BBVA, which is all in on digital banking in Mexico. But Santander's thing is different. It's that unique blend of global scale with local know-how. And now, this secret weapon they're building in-house? Gravity. So if you're going to boil it all down, it really comes down to these 3 pillars. Number 1, patient capital. That family leadership lets them make bets that pay off over decades. Number 2, treating technology as a core part of the strategy, not just some line item in the IT budget. And number 3, this really smart geographic diversification. If Europe is having a tough time, Latin America is probably growing, and the other way around. And believe me, they are not slowing down. Not at all. Their plan for the next few years is just incredibly ambitious. They want to go from 180 million customers to over 210 million. That's adding 30 million new customers. It's like adding the entire population of Australia to their bank. And all of this, all of these plans, it's all driving towards one big number, a profit target of more than 20 billion euros by 2028. That's not just a goal, it's a statement. It's them saying they don't just want to compete, they want to be in the absolute top tier of global finance. Which really brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? Look, Santander has proven again and again that it can outplay its old school rivals. But we're in a new era now, an age of super nimble fintech startups and banks that were born on the internet. So can this 168-year-old giant, with all its history and family legacy, really out-innovate the disruptors of today? I guess you could say that's the €20 billion question.